kind of guessing because it feels different for me. But if you kind of go more, if you show us that backswing again, because obviously one of the things that we've kind of talked about a little bit today was trying to stay, more in posture. Yes, if you kind of keep doing that. And one of the points that I was going to be suggesting really is to try and get more of a sense of load. Yeah. So I think people will have to introduce an element of consciousness under that right hand side. So whether you feel it more under the foot, or whether you feel it down the leg, or whether you feel it in the hip, I mean, this is where we'll incorporate Ed more and do videos on this. But it is the thing that will stop you from kind of over moving, isn't it? So you have the ability to overturn, so you're more mobile, as not everybody will be on the channel. But I think what people will resonate with is the idea that they don't feel pressure building. Do you know what I mean? So I would kind of, do exercises for people that struggle with this quite simply by doing things like placing your hands across the lower part of your stomach, so pretty much your belly button region, and then adopting, obviously neutralising things like your spine to start off with. So you don't want to kind of start sticking out your bum, because that'll kind of make you feel like you're putting weight pressure in, but then you're going to struggle then around your spinal area. So kind of make sure you're neutral to start off with, going into posture. But then from there, trying to make sure that you feel like this is still pointing down. And then what that should do is that as you're rotating and you're trying to keep this flexed, is that then you should start to get much more of a loading in the top of the hip area. Yeah? And you're really trying, exactly. So the leg will straighten, but the leg's straightening due to the fact that, your hip is moving, away.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly, but not that. Because like I said, you can move that way, but you'd have to move differently. And that's the thing, and this is what the golf swing is. It's like you have to get it matching. So I still prefer the idea of this, but I'm very easygoing in terms of if somebody can't do this. But I think if you're struggling in your swing, and we still need to kind of get better at these sort of things as to what people can do to practice, hence again, like I said, the introduction of Ed. But I would definitely start to make sure you can feel a sense of load underneath that right hand side. Yeah. You will you work on this, and similar to everyone, obviously for you it's the feeling of staying more kind of sucked up, so less sticking out. And then for others, the idea was of this exercise is that you're essentially just trying to understand that if you can stay within posture and turn down, then you'll get a sense of weight pressure. If your head starts moving around a little bit, like one, it's acceptable for your head to move a little, but two, if you're worried about that, then just bring an element of awareness to doing that and keeping your head still. I mean, it's not like if you move this way, your head has to move. It's just that you're not thinking about your head staying still, so it moves, So the thing is in the golf swing is that we need to be functional, so we don't need to worry about some of the effects. We need to think about the cause, and the cause is this. That's going to make you, much more efficient in the hit. Not worried about your head staying still. No, you haven't, but just others have commented on others. So that'd be the first thing. Practice-wise, this is the problem, isn't it? If you went down the driving range to do this, the likelihood is you won't do it. So then all you're doing is ingraining the wrong sort of thing. So you do the stepping in drill, because you're good at that one, and you do it naturally, and you wait for that to kind of feel more fluid. But equally, you would kind of just work on this sort of exercise until you can feel you can get there without having to think about it as much. Good. But then, obviously, golf is more about that, and there's other parts to it. So that's when I would normally suggest, it's worth working on a different aspect of your game. Long term, once you've got here, then you can go down. The problem you've got at the moment is because you get a bit this way, and you get a bit spinning and a bit stuck, then you're having to kind of ingrain the hip this way. So pitching, which I've done on a recent video, would be tuck under, go down, so the hip joint would go more towards your right. And then once you're set up, basically just kind of turn through with it, so your arm operates much stiller. And you can kind of work on your pitching whilst you're transitioning with everything else. Yeah. So then at least you're kind of being quite productive with your time. So rather than necessarily, should say, kind of, trying to do this and hit balls and likelihood get it wrong, be patient with the full swing.
Yes.
And then in the interim, start to hone your skills in on. For some people, it might be putting if your pitching's okay, or do something more productive. But again, you've just got to have to watch that excessive anterior tilt. Yeah. But good. So the feeling in that is that basically you're trying to get yourself set up open and more downward. Very good. And then from there, just turn your chest downward and through. So feel like your chest leads, very good.